5, slate is rolling.
Awesome.
Oh,
Hey.
So Mark,
Yes.
the showrunner, I think that's what Mallory is this time, right?
she's the director.
The director.
You are the showrunner.
I'm the showrunner? Oh my gosh.
You're the showrunner.
Not again.
So it's your baby.
we were gonna find a minute or two. Mallory walked off just a few minutes ago, and I'm not sure.
Yeah, Elena, do we have eyes on Mallory?
All the way over there.
Okay, can we bring her over here, please? Thank you.
I have to ask, are they doing anything with those lights? I was told they were going to turn the lights on.
Turn those. The ones over there that
So, I want you to scroll
Yeah.
up here.
Yeah, I'm right in it. Like, I mean, a white light.
White light.
It's all the way
So
on.
bad.
I don't want it all the way there. I want you to know it's capture area right here. Click your output format.
If you guys don't mind me.
Click your output format. Yeah, so the defense.
So sorry, we were working updates.
There you go.
All right.
Are you Mark?
I'm Mark.
Nice to meet you.
Good to meet you.
I want you to go
Mallory.
What's your last name?
Listello.
Listello. Mark Listello. You want to be Mr. Listello?
You know, you can call me
I
Mark.
want you to go up
Or
here
you can call me Mark.
view.
All right. And so we are
We do
throwing
not have
you
a
in,
secondary mount.
I believe, at about 10:20.
Okay.
10:20. And you will have, I don't know where Nick and T went. Is that?
I'll be back. I won't
And he should now be outputting there. So okay, so now we have some features. And around this, you might just scroll around the moon a little bit and just show off like certain areas.
So just kind of move it around every
Yeah.
so often.
A little more freeform
Hi,
on
T.
here.
All right, I'm Mark.
So, so the rim of the moon, however, I would suggest you set your rate to 16x is good. Practice.
10.
You can see the number right now.
Moving us down. So
Just barely.
Yeah, it was on the more clear on the
once
So, so no, what I want you
Yeah,
to
I
do.
know.
things kind of
Yes.
close to time.
Yeah, the number is just kind of like the kind of shadow before the big shadow.
Yeah.
You know what
I learned that yesterday.
We are
Right there at the
Oh, is it the big giant?
No,
No,
no.
not the duck.
It's just a small sky view mat test screen.
Okay.
It's, you know what that is, right?
Just to the right of this.
All right. There's a 6-inch dot right by. I think I'm gonna move because I'm looking at sky quality.
Okay, you're good.
Yeah, I was gonna say.
Really bad by Brian. Here's 17.1. Yeah. Oh, heck yeah.
Oh, say rotate the right way.
Yeah, yeah, I know. They just said they said that these are like
I'm pretty sure it's going
Because I was like, I fully forgot that I set the orientation.
well,
So, I'll make sure I know where he's going to go. He's an astrophotographer.
Yeah, it's astrophotography.
I do sell. I'm an artist. Yeah, I do it as an artist.
If they do want a narrower,
Yeah.
they
Wonderful. Do you have the pencil?
you're good.
Yeah.
Alright, how are we looking at this?
Oh, Dr.
I think I know what button to push without killing them all.
That's okay. We're not cussing or anything, so.
You are an astrophotographer.
No, I said we're not. We haven't yet. Listen, I was in the Navy. Okay.
But this journey requires us to
Being in a lab while also doing the semester, for me at least, it's a really great opportunity and experience.
Here you really have your choice of any project you want to work on. So
on the campus tour, we went into Dr. Siva Kumar's lab. You know, there's stuff everywhere, there's equipment everywhere, students' projects everywhere. But getting to see all of those things going on and seeing the things that they're working on, they were actually doing some cancer cell research, which is, you know, groundbreaking, real life stuff. That got me really excited, and I was like, yeah, I'm going here. I want to go here.
So we got to do almost everything you could want to touch in a laboratory setting. It was a really cool experience.
They mentioned that I may be able to help in labs, and I was interested in that. I came in, he showed me around the labs, he showed me what he did and what we could possibly do. I wanted to help work with him, and I agreed, and here I am. And I'm glad I did, because it's been great ever since.
It's not very common that undergraduate students really get to go into labs at the level of that you get in SIU. Right from the first semester you join physics department, I think, and that's not common. I mean, I'm from India. I'm from a big university in India, and I did not get a chance to.
SIU's prepared me really well. My professors have all been really great, and they've all taken the time necessary to help kind of foster that curiosity about the field of physics.
But then when you're actually doing research and you can actually control what you're doing and see the laws and the equations working out in real life, then it just kind of clicks.
Students can engage in research. They can do research that they can get published on, which is of great benefit to students who are going into graduate school in physics or astronomy later on.
I have an undergrad that just graduated, and her and I have a paper together that was just accepted to Physical Review A, which is a very good physics journal. And she worked with me for several years on research before she graduated.
In my previous job with Georgia, one of the reasons why they selected me was because of my physics experience. And from there, I was able to get this job with KDHE because I also showed a lot of initiative and understanding of a lot of analytical data.
There's almost an infinite number of things you can do with physics. So many different fields. It's like engineering. There's so many different things you can do with it that it's ridiculous.
Really what I want to get is just kind of this deeper understanding of engineering that, you know, maybe other engineers don't have. They haven't seen these concepts before, and I might understand why something works that somebody else might look at and not understand it. And so I kind of want to take the knowledge I can get, like from all the fields of physics I can grab, and apply that into my engineering career.
If you can make it in physics, you can make it in a lot of different careers later on.
Welcome everybody to NASA's SolarSTEAM Lunar Eclipse live stream. My name is Claire.
I'm Sia.
And we are right here on campus at SIU.
Yeah, tonight we'll be covering the first contact to maximum. We'll be doing some interviews with the School of Physics and some people from our team. Claire?
Yes, the moon's looking bright tonight. We're excited, aren't we?
Yeah, 9:30 p.m. It's a chilly night in Carbondale. So let's get ready to send it to our feeds before our first interview with Bob Baer.
Welcome back. It's Claire, and I am here with Bob Bear. Can you tell me a little bit about what your role is and what you do as the director of the physics department?
Well, I'm director of public astronomy observations. I can't say I'm the director of the physics department. My director would get a little bit upset about that, but I'm director of public astronomy observations here at SIU Carbondale. I've been doing public astronomy observations for a long time. I just realized it's like 26 years since I've been here. I started doing them when I got here. And so we do events like what you see here tonight, all the people here tonight. We bring out the telescopes for live streaming events, and I also do research, solar research, a specific type called citizen science, where we do volunteer science on the sun. We actually just got done doing some of that in Spain for the total solar eclipse there.
Yeah, could you tell me a little bit more about Spain and what you did there?
Yeah, it was a great experience. A lot of work. We took a team from SIU Carbondale there to do a live stream and to collect data for something called the DEB initiative, which is Dynamic Eclipse Broadcast Initiative. But some of the people that are here tonight running the telescopes and running the live stream were there in Spain as well. And we did a live stream for about an hour and a half during the total solar eclipse, which was pretty incredible. It was the eclipse itself was low on the horizon, so kind of like tonight when we saw the moon rising, we saw that eclipse coming up, and it was just incredible. And we collected a lot of good data on the sun as well. So we're using that activity in preparation for the next eclipse that's coming up, which I think you know about, which is in North Africa, and we're looking at specifically trying to do a live stream from Morocco for that one next year.
So can you tell me what we're going to expect tonight and what we're going to see? What exactly is a lunar eclipse?
So a lunar eclipse happens when the Earth gets in between the sun and the moon, and the Earth starts to block the light coming from the sun that illuminates the moon. So you noticed earlier tonight the moon was full, and as the Earth moves in between the sun and the moon, it starts to block it. And what we're seeing right now, and I'm looking up because I can see the moon right up in the sky, we're seeing that shadow of the Earth starting to cast across the moon, and that's called the umbra, or the darkest part of the shadow. And what we're going to see tonight is we're going to see that continue to move across, and it's not going to completely shade it, but it will cause the surface of the moon to change color a little bit. It'll orange, and about 96% of it will be shaded, and we'll see this little thin sliver of the moon that's going to look pretty bright at maximum eclipse. Just a little thin sliver, 4% of it, that will not be shaded at maximum, and then the whole thing will reverse. So over the next few hours, 2.5 hours or so, we'll see this progress.
Yeah, so you mentioned the umbra. Can you tell me what is the umbra exactly and what's the penumbra?
So the penumbra is the lighter part of the shadow. So the sun itself, it's big, it's very big, and as the Earth starts to block some of the light coming from the sun and around the edge of the sun, you start to get the penumbra, the lighter part of the shadow, go across the moon. You actually can't see that. You don't really notice it unless you're using a camera and measuring specific light levels. The umbra, the darker part of the shadow, is much more noticeable, and that's the direct light from the sun being blocked by the Earth. And it's really interesting as well, because the light, it doesn't just block it perfectly. Some light from the sun goes through the atmosphere of the Earth, and so that's why when we get towards totality, you see this orange cast. It's the light, you can say it's the light from sunsets all around the Earth being cast upon the moon.
Wow. Well, thank you for talking with me and for joining us today. We are going to go back to our feeds really quickly and come right back with another interview. Welcome back. I am here now with Dr. Frazier. Can you tell me a little bit about what your job is and your role here at SIU?
So I serve as the Vice Chancellor for Anti-Racism, Diversity, Equity, and Inclusion. So part of my role is I do some recruiting, but most of my role is based on retention and working with constituency.
Yeah. What brought you here tonight, Dr. Frazier?
You know, actually, I've had an opportunity to see some of the best shots, the solar eclipse, by working with some of the students, and I was really going. I didn't know anything about the lunar eclipse tonight, so when I saw it, I was like, "Oh, I gotta go back."
Yeah.
I gotta go back.
How has your program worked with like the different colleges?
Well, I'm not sure with the different colleges, but for us, we have sponsored several events with this particular program, and I hope that we can continue on others to come.
Students that are watching, what are some of the things you do around campus that they can get involved with?
So we have the multicultural week is the week of belonging. Students have had an opportunity to participate in several events that we have across campus. Now it ends tomorrow, but then also it's the beginning of the state fair. So I hope they have a chance to enjoy. But you know, we typically have a lot of things that are going on. But school, so I would remind them to still go to class.
So what are some goals that you have for your program?
Well, someone else asked me that today, and I really want students to be engaged. You know, research would show that engaged students are the most successful students. I feel like we've had a great 3-week start. I hope that momentum continues and continues into the spring. But I want students to have an opportunity to enjoy the campus, beautiful campus. We're here on a beautiful night, but take advantage of it, right? This is the best time of your life, right? To be able to go to school and learn and explore and find out who you really are and what you want to be when you grow up. I'm still trying to figure that out as well, right? So I would encourage you to take it upon yourself for if these opportunities happen, because they will across campus, that you take some time and kind of learn and experience anything that you can experience. That take advantage of it.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
What makes SIU special to you?
You know, I'm originally from Texas, and I came to SIU, and I wasn't sure, right? I had only been to Illinois for Springfield and to Chicago, but when I got here, it was a storm, right? So I didn't really get the chance to see it, but when I woke up in the morning, it was very beautiful, and there was a sense of community, and that's why I've been here 6 years, right? If you had asked me that when I first got here, that long, but it grows on you, right? And it's the people that work here and the people you're around, and then most importantly, it's the students I get to work with every day.
Well, what are you most excited for tonight?
Oh, to see the lunar eclipse.
Yep, that's what we're all here for.
Right,
Thank you for joining me. We're
All right.
going to cut back to our feeds now and
Thank
come
you.
back later.
Thank you.
Hey, it's Sia, and I'm here with Richard, a telescope operator. How are you doing tonight, Richard?
I'm doing great. How are you?
I'm good. So what got you involved with SolarSTEAM?
I originally joined SolarSTEAM in the beginning of 2023, a little bit in preparation for the 2024 solar eclipse that came through here in Carbondale. At that time, we were planning for the Australian solar eclipse in 2023, April of that year, just a year before. And so from there, I got involved with it, and I've continued on with the project for the last 3.5 years.
Wow, that sounds really interesting. So could you explain what makes these telescopes different from like your average telescope?
I hate to say that these are different from your average telescope. Anybody can pick up a really decent refractor. You're just going to have to pay a pretty penny to get one. These are research grade telescopes. We are using what you would call a triplet, which means this one has 3 lenses over here. The one behind me has 4 lenses. It's a quadruplet, and when you have those extra lenses, it kind of flattens out the field or fixes the image based on color. There's a lot of little physics that goes along with it. Really, the big part is the cameras that we're using are generally science cameras, but for the telescopes, you can afford these. These are a little bit higher grade. They're a little bit more expensive just because they have really good optics in them.
That term, refractor, could you expand on that a little bit?
So a refractor is a telescope that just uses lenses. You have light that passes through directly through the lens, and it travels all the way down the telescope to the eyepiece, or in our case, a camera, as opposed to a reflector, which uses a mirror, and it bounces off that, and it hits another mirror, and then it passes out, typically for a reflector telescope, through the eyepiece on the side.
Wow. So 3 years of this, did you just start out in 2023, or did you come in with some prior knowledge?
I've had prior knowledge. I've been working with telescopes for the better part of 16 or 17 years now, which kind of made me the good emphasis to use for the eclipses, so yeah.
Wow. Thank you so much for your time.
Thank you.
I hope you enjoy this night. I hope you enjoy the eclipse.
Thank you.
Thank you.
I hope you enjoy it too.
Thank you. Well, hey, it's Sia, and I'm right back with Ashton, our other telescope operator. How are you tonight, Ashton?
I'm doing really well, thank you.
Nice. So I know Richard mentioned about 17 years of experience. How hard do you think it is to learn how to work with these telescopes?
Telescopes are both very complicated and much more simple than a lot of people think. It definitely takes some time to learn them, but it's not out of reach for someone to try and figure them out, actually, with a bit of training.
Do you think it would take me long?
I think no. I think you could pick it up in a couple of nights working with us.
All right. I keep hearing about this star party. Have you been involved, and will you be involved this year?
Yes, I was actually one of the organizers of last year's star party, and I was also a telescope operator for that. And this coming one, I know for a fact I will be one of the telescope operators.
Can you expand on like what those parties look like?
It is a large gathering, I'd say, of astronomers. There's amateur astronomers that come with their own telescopes. We set up our own live stream as well there. It's basically just a gathering that we kind of just like teach the general public and show them what's going on in our sky.
That's fun. And I also have to ask, all of these red lights, now what does that really mean?
The red lights we use to block out white light from our telescopes. White light is really bad for telescopes, unfortunately.
Okay.
It just kind of, because that's what we look for in the sky. So that the white light from everything else kind of drowns out what we're looking for. The red lights don't do that. So we tend to use those when we're using telescopes.
That's so interesting. Thank you so much for your time.
Of course.
I'll let you enjoy the night. Yeah, let's send it back to our feeds.
Welcome back. We are now here with Mark. It is great to have you here. You are an astrophotographer, correct?
Yes, I'm an astrophotographer, I'm an artist, and a visual astronomer.
Can you tell me a bit about that?
Okay, astrophotography is the art of taking pictures of deep space with a telescope, a camera, and lenses, and that kind of thing. We track the night sky and stack images to make a beautiful full color image like the Hubble telescope does.
Wow.
But we do it from the ground.
Wow, that's impressive. So can you tell me about your art then a little bit?
Okay, yeah, I'm the owner of a company. It's called spaceonmetal.com, Mark Listello Astrophotography. And what I do is I'll take my images that I digitally create and I will stack them and process them. I print them on metal and aluminum, a metal and styrene and acrylic block. And then I go to art shows on a regular basis and we sell them to the public. And then I do outreaches while I'm there with the kids. We talk about stars and nebula and how stars are formed.
How long have you been doing this for?
I have been in astrophotography for about 3.5 years now, but I've actually been an astronomer my whole life. From the time I was a kid, we would go to the UP in Michigan and watch the stars. I was in the Navy. I saw the darkest of dark skies that you'll ever see on an aircraft carrier at night when we're done flying. It was just a great thing. And then I went to school here and I took the astronomy classes. One of my electives, became an aircraft mechanic, and added to my astronomy with just the daily life of coming out at night. So.
Do you have any specific inspirations? Who or what inspired you to do this? What inspired you to pursue this?
A big part of it was my father and my wife. Julia's back there. She keeps this going. She does a lot of the podcasts, the TikTok that we do, the constant presenting whenever I'm out in the field and setting up and getting a rig set up and going through a process where I'll show people how to stack a sun picture and pull out the prominence and then pull out the colors and invert it so that we can get a very beautiful coma. Mm-hmm. So yeah, these are my inspirations.
Yeah. What are you looking forward to specifically tonight? What do you want to capture?
Tonight, I can't wait for totality. I mean, it isn't totality, it's 96%, but I really want to catch that red moon when it comes out. Yeah. That's going to be really nice.
Well, thank you so much for coming out here tonight. We're so glad to have you back at SIU.
You're welcome.
Thank you for talking with me.
Thank you. I'm also a part of the Michiana Astronomical Society, and we are holding our annual star party in October. And if you come to my website, www.spaceonmetal.com, you'll be able to see where we're going to be, and you can come spend 3 nights out under the stars with us. Okay.
Thank you so much, Mark. We are going to cut back to the feeds really quick, and we will be right back for an interview with our floor director.
Welcome back. Joining us now is Elena Waggle. Can you tell me a bit about your role tonight?
Yeah, absolutely. So I'm working with SIU's NASA SolarSTEAM, and my role is behind the cameras, and I'm like kind of the communication between our production back here and the talent that's like in front of the camera here. So whatever the production is trying to communicate, I will communicate to the talent.
So what do you do here at SIU? What's your major and how long have you been here?
I'm double majoring in linguistics and radio, television, and digital media with a specialization in television production. So I really like to be like behind the cameras and like a part of production in like any way I can get my hands on.
So you're a part of SolarSTEAM, which means you were on the trip to Spain this summer. Can you tell me a bit about that?
Yes, absolutely. I got the opportunity to go to Leon, Spain to help them live stream the total solar eclipse that happened there. It was awesome. We had like a great turnout, so many people, and like lots of telescopes. We got some great like footage and photographs of the eclipse, and everyone had such a great time. It was really fun.
So what are the differences we're looking at between the solar eclipse that you were at and the lunar eclipse tonight?
With the solar eclipse, we were a lot more like strict on time and like cutting to the feeds and to the people, because we had to like hit a specific time when it came to totality. Everything was like more marked out. With the lunar eclipse, we just kind of are a little more relaxed. And we're also clearly at nighttime, so we have to like set up lights and work around all that, not interfering with the telescopes and making sure you can see the host and everyone's beautiful.
Yeah. Can you tell me a bit about like what the setup process was for this? Like how much time did you have, and like what were all the specifics that went into it?
There was obviously a lot of prep for these kinds of things. Mostly like when it came to setting this stuff up, it takes a couple hours before like going live to like make sure everything is set up and in place. But when it comes to like the preparations, even with like production, that's happening like days and weeks beforehand. Like the day after the solar eclipse, I was told, yeah, watch out, you're probably going to be a part of the team for the lunar eclipse happening in 2 weeks. So yeah.
Well, thank you for joining me tonight, and we are going to be right back later with an interview with the director of our show tonight.
Hey, it's Sia, and I'm back with our director, Mallory. Hi, Mallory.
Hi, how's it going?
I'm good. How have you been?
Very good, very busy.
Can you expand on the role of director in a production like this?
Yeah, absolutely. So what I do as the director is I spend a lot of time with the production side, the theatrics. So I'm working with talent, I'm working with people behind the camera. I have some people working to get our talent ready. And so between feeds, I make sure that people are going where they need to go and mic'd up where they need to be. And then the rest of the time I sit in the back in the control table and I make sure that everything's on schedule.
So what's your major here at SIU and how does this type of work play into it?
Absolutely. So I am a cinema major and this goes hand in hand. I would love to be a director. And so getting to work here and running a production and being worried about talking with talent, working with talent, making sure that people are where they need to be and making sure that the show looks good. And so that's exactly what I want to do. So it's very cool.
I hear about this trip to Spain. I bet it was beautiful. What's the difference between that production and this production tonight?
So there's lots of differences. You know, it's cold here. It's a little cold here now that the sun's gone. And in Spain, obviously, there was a lot more sun. So we had to prep all in the dark here, which makes things harder to figure out timing in our sheets and looking at our papers. The other big difference is that there's a lot more people here. So in Spain, it was a smaller kind of group. We had a little bit more gear, but it was just kind of a small group. And then we had people from Spain came and visited and watched the eclipse. But now there's lots of people out with telescopes and doing lots of things. And so seeing more families interacting is really cool here.
Would you prefer a smaller or a bigger group?
That's a good question. I think a smaller group has its strengths and weaknesses. A smaller group is nice because you know where everybody is and you know everybody. But having a bigger group is more. There's more stuff to do. Things can go a lot smoother sometimes, and obviously a bigger crowd is a lot of fun too. So.
What are some problems that you often run into as a director?
So there are some problems, especially when I'm starting out. You know, I'm still getting used to the role. I learned a lot in Spain. We were working with Blair Allen, and I learned a lot from him. And so a lot of the problems are, we have mic problems, we have camera problems. Sometimes cameras fall, sometimes things get bumped. And making sure that we are all on the same page as a crew. From the technical side to the theatrical side, just making sure that everybody knows what's happening and knows how to get the best result.
Now, you said you're a cinema major. How did you go from, the more still production of cinema to a live production like SolarSTEAM?
So it was very cool. I got to, the interim director is Carla Berry, and she kind of singled me out in some ways and was just like, hey, I would really like you to work with me. And I got to work a little bit closer with her. And then at the end of the year last year, she said, hey, let's go to Spain, join us for this. And she helped me get there, and I just jumped on because every opportunity is a great opportunity.
Yeah. Could you tell me some differences between more cinema type of production and live productions?
Yeah, there's a lot with cinema production. Things are always kind of moving, but there's some breathing room because you can cut the cameras and reset and go ahead. But when you're live, you're just going.
Always going.
Anything that happens will happen, and you just have to roll with it, which is a little different than a pre-planned smaller group that I'm used to.
Yeah, there's a bit of art to that. Happy mistakes.
Yes, absolutely. Happy accidents.
Happy accidents. Well, I think that's our time, so I'm gonna thank you so much for your time.
Thank you.
And I'm gonna send it back to the feeds. Thank you.
Welcome back. We are now here with our producer, Adam Gunther. Can you tell me a little bit about your role?
So with this production, this is the first time I've taken on the role as kind of like doing producing. So that's, you know, finding a director, camera operators, host, piecing together the show, the time frame, the rundown of everything. Thankfully, I have a great director that was able to help me with that stuff. And then I'm also the technical director. So I'm in charge of what you see behind us here. Not the telescopes, that's the physicist here, and they do a great job at that. But all of the networking, all of the camera setup, that is all done through me. And then I put the stream keys in so it can go out live on YouTube.
So what have you done in the past with SolarSTEAM?
So I just came back from Spain. I was a technical director there, working with a very similar crew. That was my very first live production, and not only did it go live on our channel, I was also in charge of putting the custom URLs in for NASA servers so they can use our feeds to put out on their network. Prior to that, I've also worked with the Star Party. I've done quite a bit of just different little short videos here. And then this past summer, in the beginning of the summer, I worked with 2 high school students, and they were wanting to apply science to media, and I taught them how to conduct it. Basically produced their entire interview with one of our physicists here, gotta think about who it was now, Dr. Mandrell. They interviewed him talking about the eclipse, and so that's kind of where I've been here, working with Star, and I'm going to be doing the upcoming Star Party as well.
So you're a student here now, correct?
Correct.
How did you get into this program, and what do you hope to do in your future?
So I got into this program by, I started out at like a small tech school, and it turned me on to media. And when I moved back up here from Florida, I was looking for an actual bachelor's degree program, and so I found that they had RTD here, radio, television, and digital media. And then I decided to double major in cinema as well, because I want to be able to do both narrative and news production. As far as my future goes, I am really wanting to be in news production. I want to be a producer for the news, more specifically foreign correspondent type news. A lot of travel around the world. I would love to be in war zones with other producers and things like that, and showing what's going on in the world.
So how does the narrative type of stuff you do differ from this, like tonight?
So when I say narrative, I should specify documentary. So I want to be able to tell stories from people's point of views that's outside of the realm of news itself. So that would be about as a narrative as I would like to go. Maybe promotional videos and things like that, but more specifically the documentary work is where I want to be.
So outside of SolarSTEAM, what other work have you done? Like, have you done work on documentaries or anything specific like that?
So no, I have not really gotten to get into documentary work. I'm currently working on some stuff. Outside of here, I've worked with a couple of the MFA students on their projects, one specifically being a thesis project for a recent graduate. And then just kind of jumping in anywhere I can here. The professors here are amazing. If you ask them, they will point you somewhere to go and to get into some sort of work here.
So you mentioned the Star Party before. Can you tell us a bit about that? What's your role going to be in that?
So my role in the Star Party will be similar to what it is tonight. I will be part of the producing team, and I will also be doing the technical directing as well. I'm hoping to be able to start teaching students how to do this, not to take over, but because there's not so much there's not really a program here that teaches the technology side of it. And so for me, I think that's something that I could pass on to another generation coming through this program.
Well, thank you so much for talking to me tonight. I hope everything else goes smoothly for the rest of the night. And we are going to have one more interview right before we hit our maximum eclipse.
Welcome back. I'm here with Dr. Brevik. How have you been tonight?
Fantastic.
Glad to hear. Now, doctor, could you give me a definition of maximum contact?
Yeah, so we're not getting a true total eclipse tonight. It's a partial, but it's a really, really deep partial. So maximum contact is when we're going to cover up as much of the moon as possible.
Okay. And like, what does that look like in Carbondale compared to another place?
So with a lunar eclipse, we all get to see the same thing.
Yeah.
So anywhere on the night side of the Earth, we're all seeing the same thing happening at the same time. So anybody in North America, if they can see the moon, if they step out right now, they should be seeing the same thing we're seeing. So we're getting really close to maximum contact.
Now, could you explain this kind of reddish brown tone?
Yeah, so if we didn't have an atmosphere,
Yeah.
it would go black. We would miss everything. So it would truly disappear. The reddish part is because we have an atmosphere and it's really thin, but what's happening is light from the sun that's on the other side of the Earth is coming through the atmosphere and it's being focused on the sun. And so the part that gets focused is the red light. So our atmosphere is acting like a lens and it's focusing the red light onto the moon. So we get this blood moon effect for people who like to watch Zelda, right? We got a blood moon coming.
I love how these colors come into play with science, you know?
Yes.
It's very interesting.
Yep.
Are there ever any safety procedures you have to go over with things like
Yeah,
this?
so with a solar eclipse, there's all sorts of safety procedures. With a lunar eclipse, none at all.
Just
Okay,
get to
you know,
stare
stand in a dark, safe place and don't get hit by anything, right? That's the old, but as far as looking, you don't need glasses, you can just watch the show.
Yeah, we've got a lot of onlookers tonight. It's very
Yeah,
beautiful.
we've got an amazing turnout here on the SIU campus.
Does a lunar eclipse affect wildlife?
Not to the extent that a solar eclipse does. So with a solar eclipse, all of a sudden it gets dark during the day and there's all sorts of effects. Here, it's already dark, right? So the wildlife just, it gets darker. They're not going to really notice. That's why solar eclipses are so impressive because they have all these extra features. Lunar eclipses are very cool, but it's a different experience.
Yeah, honestly, tonight I didn't even know the difference between a solar and a lunar eclipse. Could you, like, are there any more details you could, like, expand on?
Sure. So solar eclipses happen during the daytime, right? Because what we lose sight of is the sun. It has to be a new moon. So that's why, and then a lunar eclipse has to be a full moon. So they if they happen on the same time, they're 2 weeks later. So there was a total solar eclipse 2 weeks ago. Now we get a total lunar eclipse. They don't always come back to back. We got lucky. This is a very special month where we're getting both. The other part is solar eclipses, you have to be in just the right magic spot to see them. Lunar eclipses, everybody on the night side gets to see it when it happens.
That's
So
very...
they're easier to catch, right?
Yeah.
They don't happen more often, but more of us get to see them.
Yeah, it sounds like lunar eclipses are just like more casual fun, where solar eclipses are a little bit more scary.
Where you have to kind of make an effort to be in the right place at the right time for a solar eclipse. So most people have seen a lunar eclipse, or at least a partial. Not as many people have had the opportunity to see a solar eclipse.
Okay. So those trips to Spain we've been hearing about, are those capturing solar or lunar eclipses?
So that was a solar eclipse. So the Spain eclipse was 2 weeks ago. That was a total solar eclipse. Next year's total solar eclipse will be August of 2027. Spain, way down by Gibraltar, will just catch a little clips of it, but it will primarily go through Africa. So it's going to go from Morocco all the way through Egypt, and then around into Saudi Arabia next summer. And if you're not in that path, you won't even know what's happening.
How often do these happen?
So there's an opportunity twice a year, but they don't usually happen every time. Approximately every 18 months, there's a total solar eclipse, but it varies. Some years we have one, other years we don't.
Yeah, that's how nature is.
Well, everything has to be lined up just right.
Yeah. Thank you so much for the information, Doctor.
Of course.
I'm going to let you enjoy the rest of the night, and I'm going to send it back to our feed right before to watch us get maximum coverage. Thank you.
Hello, it is now 11:13 and we are at our maximum eclipse. We hope that you enjoyed our program tonight.
Yeah, and make sure to look out for information on the star party happening in September, and stick around for a little while one of our telescopes focuses on the star Andromeda.
Thank you so much for joining
Yes,
us.
thank you.
Good night.